Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very, very accomplished entrepreneur from Pune, India, Mr. Sreejith Moolayil. Sreejith, welcome to the show.
Hi, sir. It's an honor to be on your show and interact with you. So thanks for having me over.
Thank you for agreeing to speak to me. So Sreejith is the co-founder and chief operating officer of True Elements. And today we'll speak about True Elements. Sreejith, True Elements is a brand in the health foods space. Tell me a little bit about this venture and what was your motivation to start?
Yeah, so we don't call ourselves a health food brand because the moment we call a health tag, there are a lot of perceptions which get built in minds. So we want to be considered as a food brand because health obviously is the driving factor. But again, health is even these days, even the most junk food you can think about all comes out with a lot of benefits.
Correct.
So I don't want to be called as we are a clean label food brand. That means the food which we make is closest to what the nature has given it in a form in terms of processing. That's what we try by. That means obviously we don't add stuff which are in food. We don't add processes which sucks up the nutrients from it. That's the fundamental ethos of the brand. And that is what it resonates in its name, True, right? So everything what we do every day is driven by the word true. For example, if a consumer is calling with a complaint, we obviously have to look from the angle of being true. So if there are some hard truth which a consumer doesn't know and need to know, we need to tell that. Or the way we handle it, the way we hire, the way we retain people, everything has to be being driven by that. And why we landed up doing this is my co-founder and we both started our entrepreneurial journey 10 years back. And we were clear about the area. Area was food and health. It was more driven by challenges at our personal level. My co-founder lost his father for a stage 3 cancer. I lost my father-in-law for a lifestyle issue. So all that triggered a discussion around health at home. And then what is that we could do is what triggered us to get into this.
So tell me, Sreejith, a little bit about the kind of products that you have developed already. And then we'll talk more about your journey and what goes into building a brand.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is we are trying to make any food consumed at 8 o'clock in the morning, 11 in the morning again, and 5. Why I'm telling 8, 11, 5 is these are not coming to the meals part because we Indians need our dal roti in north and sambar rice in south. And that we don't want to touch. So we are touching all the other consumption occasions beyond the 2 meals. And what are we bringing in? We started with the Western variants of cereals, but now we even have an Indian variants. And how is our brand different from any other available one? So let me just give you a recent launched one, a dosa mix. People will think dosa mix, what is rocket science in it, right? But if you look at the dosa available for a person who is seeking convenience and taste, either you need to pick up a fresh battered dosa and make dosa, but that comes with a shelf life of 15 days. And that also means that the pouch which you got at home need to be refrigerated and finish it in a week. In a couple of days rather. So that means there is a market which exists, which is dehydrated powder of dosa, which couple of leading brands have been selling for years. But if you look at, I'm sure most of us wouldn't have looked at the ingredients there. To get that crispiness there and to get that fluffiness, beyond food, there are elements which is added like fat with baking powder and couple of chemicals to give you that feel. Our dosa mix is made out of jowar and ragi without that fat, without that baking powder, without any of those. The processing which we do and the ingredients of a lotus seed powder which we have put in a different way, that's the same trick what others have been doing with chemicals, right? So how can we remove small amount of chemicals which is getting into our body in various ways? Even if you look at the most healthiest breakfast cereal, the fruit which is there in that dehydrated fruit is 98% dehydrated because there is 2% moisture in it. As such, people need to add sugar and ascorbic acid in it. So we came out with freeze-dried fruit being used there. remove the chemical. Those are the kind of product which we are.
So I love your positioning of 8 a.m., 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. So you give me example of, say, your dosa, which is, in its true elements at 8 a.m. For our viewers and listeners, tell me, what about your products for 11 a.m. and 5 p.m.?
Okay. So, now some part of India might have for 11 and 5, but leave this aside. We have got, let's say this Pongal, okay, or there is each. So we have one product made out of jawar, ragi, and oats for each state. Okay. Now, or there is a baked granula. Okay, granula, you can have it as a snack. Okay, or there is oatmeal. Okay, you can have it as a snack. You can just pour some milk, or you can have it like that at 11 and 5. Or we have got seed mixes. Okay, now there are party mix, there is multi-seed mix, there is dry fruit mix. So we have got sunflower, flax, chia, watermelon, and another 6-7 seeds in it, which gives you the essential fatty acids. Okay, and with very less saturated fat and almost zero to negligible amount of carb in it, which is what the current generation who doesn't have very high active life need to look at. Because when you are not having a very active life to burn off the saturated fat and unwanted kind of quick calories coming in, these are the stuff which you should look at. So we have got multiple snacks there made out of seeds in, like there is a crunchy mini. Okay, the mix of seeds bound together with cocoa powder. Okay, cocoa for antioxidant and multiple seeds with peanuts and watermelon and multiple seeds in it. Those kind of snacks we have made of seeds for 11 and 5.
Amazing. So, you've done a lot of work on food research and you've got some amazing products. Sreejith, what are some of the nutrition challenges Indians face across our country?
Okay, so there are two kinds of them. There is a macronutritional challenge, which is being widely talked about because of our consumption of meal, which is hyper rich in carbs, whether it is roti or dal, because our center of plate is rice or roti, which is high carbs. Correct. Okay, and side plate usually is a very small percentage, but it should be lower. So if you look at Westerners, they have a big protein in the middle, and then they have some salads on the around. Our protein is coming from dals and a couple of pulses, but again, that is negligibly 5 to 10% for per meal. Okay, so one macronutrient challenge is increasing the protein intake for a commoner, right? So again, there is an awareness coming in, but people are picking up quick fix solutions like a protein shake. But then what they are missing there is, because that shake is hyper processed, may not be the right way. And again, to make the protein absorption quick, they add a couple of chemicals, and to make it balanced, they are fortified with chemicals. And overall, it's a meal which is a bookish meal, but not for a human body. Is what we believe. Okay, so we have tried to bring products which are not the bookish meal made in labs, which has got everything right, but our body have not evolved to understand that as a meal and digest it, right? So one is at that level, macro level protein. Correct. Then there are micronutrient challenges which you would know, like the Indian women are the most anemic across the world, right? Okay, and because we have a high carbs and then tops up with processed sugar, we are the diabetic capital. Okay, then we have the other end. We cook our product in a way, in our meals in a way that it is deeply fried or shallow fried with a lot of oil. Fat goes up, right? So that's another challenge. So beyond the mineral and vitamin challenges, which anyway exist because of our lifestyle, right? Okay. For example, even I was surprised. Every day my routine is in the morning calls between 9:30 to 10:30. I usually take it outside my factory walking. Still, I was surprised. I have a shortage of vitamin D, right? So people who are working 8 hours in office, it's nearly impossible. So if India having so much sunlight have vitamin D shortage, we have almost all the micronutrients being in short in our body, right? Yeah, but it is still not become a biggest alarm, because there are diabetics and those which are taking the attention. And I think probably our balanced meal in terms of non-carb rich would do a trick there.
So tell me then, you are an expert in this area. I have a reasonable understanding. How do common people understand what is my shortfall in terms of major nutrient or micronutrient? I mean, I know everyone knows that we should have more protein. So is there some kind of, a place where they can go and test what is in the nutrition, or do they just keep eating what they have?
So the challenge is actually at our kitchen level, each of our kitchen level. Because what has happened again, so what has happened because of 1950s to 70s when we had a huge shortage on food, right? Our bureaucracy and government is tweaked towards loading us with food, which was carb easily available in 50 to 80s. But I don't think our governments haven't realized that we are beyond that, or we are at the cusp of moving out to food is not an issue. The right food is an issue, right? So what happened during Green Revolution to get food in our plate need to start at a macro level by all of us in getting people. The challenge is not getting the food. Challenge right now is getting the right food. Challenge was getting the food in 50s to 80s. We are out of it, right? So that is a major opportunity for all of us to educate in this one. At a small level, we are doing it. If you go to our website and if you just, there is filtering available at nutrient level, there is filtering level at the lifestyle you have, the filtering available at the health issues you have. But those are, because at the end of the day, we don't have the budgets to put it right now and reap it 5 years down the line. We are in a competitive marketplace. We need to make it happen now, right? So somebody who has a long horizon, like a government, need to now start coming to that. I think there is a small action happening there in FHSA level, but it is way too slow. Just to give you one example, which pains me personally, because since 2015 or 14 or so, I've been hearing that our products are going to have a traffic light on the pack, which will tell you the product has got very high, let's say if there is very high fat, it will be red, and right amount of salt, it will be green. Okay. It is as simple as that. Will make people aware what's in it.
Correct.
That hasn't happened for last 7 years. Still, the snack and the beverages lobbies are making sure it doesn't come because they'll go out of business. Okay. Probably customers or viewers can tell that coming in might benefit company like us, but it is not benefiting just us, including the consumers and overall the health of the country. So those changes has to happen at the macro.
Well said. Well said. So moving on, from how are you sourcing a lot of your recipes and a lot of your ingredients?
So sourcing, okay, now ingredients, we this year we started growing some of our crops which we require through contract farming with farmers. Okay, because idea is being, because we are also India's first packaged food where you can track farm to fork of each of the ingredients. If you buy a breakfast muesli of ours, you can see when was that jowar in it was harvested and when it comes to factory, what are the conditions. Because of that, we want to go to the last mile and we have reached the farmers. So farming is not completely 100%, but right now we are 20-25%, but eventually we will reach at least upwards of 60 in next couple of years. Okay, that's from the sourcing point. In terms of developing, that's probably passion for food is being what driving us since last 10 years. So we have been blessed with a bunch of people who are equally passionate about this space. We are a 4-member NPD, new product development team, and I am part of 1/4 of my work goes in there. So we brainstorm, come out, test, and we also wind up and throw the products quickly in 3 months if it doesn't work. So being a startup, we have that privilege. We leverage it completely.
Oh, wonderful. So now let me move to the other aspect of building true elements as a brand. One, of course, is knowledge of what the customer wants, which you have. Second is to make sure that you have the right ingredients and build true elements. But one of the big challenges is how do you build the brand? I'd love to get your thoughts on what are you doing to build a powerful food brand?
So as you would know, and I'm sure most of the viewers would know, brand is everything about what we are as individuals and what the product which you're putting out.
Correct.
Okay. So I think that part we have done fairly okay job. Okay. Because as I've told you, the 4 pillars on which our brand stands is true to people, true to food, true to planet, and true to our word, which is traceability. Okay. So this have been clear since day one. Okay. That drives us. That means we know what we would do and what we won't do. And all our employees takes those decisions in their work driven by these 4. And we have done a decent job in putting that in pack. Okay. Where we have not done and the huge area to work is mass scale spreading that out to the consumers and people out there. Okay. That is one, you need to have the right way of doing it at the most cost efficient manner. Okay. And one, obviously, that means if you need to invest in brand in the first leg, you need to invest and wait for the brand to come and then business catch up. That's one way of building startup. That means you in day zero invest in brand and then brand grows and then slowly business also comes to that. Okay. Companies who have raised enough funding in the beginning can do that way. That is, you're clear on the brand. You start promulgating it very loudly. Then slowly sales match up. I would not call it luckily, unluckily. We didn't have that leverage or privilege of getting that money in zero. So we have always have the brand investment and sales grow step by step. Okay. So we not invested ahead in brand before the sales came in. Okay. So and that also has been a strength because it's an organically spread. But right now we are at a stage where we need to go out and talk out loud about it. So for that, we are in the final stage of closing around the funding. Post that, we will have enough money to go out and talk loudly about brand, which we have been doing for the last 5 years, quietly inside our factory.
Wonderful. And in a market like what exists today, what is the role digital media is playing in building your brand?
It's a phenomenal opportunity to reach consumers directly. One. Second, reach the right consumer directly. Because when you look at a mass scale media or the conventional media, you're actually spraying and praying, okay, to an extent, right? In a digital media, you can narrow to the T and reach the right consumer, but that comes with a very high cost. As of now, there is influencer marketing, then there is social media, then there is multiple sampling. So it's a right mix of all. Okay. And every brand has been experimenting with the right mix for them. Okay. We have been leveraging more on trials and word of mouth. Okay. And we have not gone the influencer route much yet. Okay. Because that comes again, it's a supply and demand, and then how much you can afford right point of time. So that's right. But digital has been, we are a 80% digital sales brand, 20% is offline. But in the first leg of our journey, it was 100% digital. Okay. And thereby, we can do course correction quickly. Product launch today, 3 months, we have got complete review and understanding. You fix it, not fixable, scrap it, go ahead. Right? Those are impossible for conventional brand. 3 months, because for us, the quickest launch we have done because of the digital is 4 days from the idea to brand listing in Amazon. 4th day, right? That's not possible. Okay. And delisting happens in no time. There's some reviews coming, this cannot be fixed. Product is working. Scrap the product packaging material and delist. So our decision making have been very quick. We know the consumer, but again, so then the next question is, why haven't you been heard all over the place? That is depends upon, do you want it to be heard right now? Because are you 100? For example, we are still not available in any modern trade. We are not there in DMart, we are not there in Star Bazaar. That's a conscious call. Because we believe if you reach modern trade before the brand pull exists, it's going to be a very highly expensive proposition to get. Okay. Correct. So we are going to entering modern trade 3-4 months down the line. We are a 4.5-year-old brand. There are so many brands, day one, they are there in modern trade. Okay. We don't believe, because we've learned our learnings in the first 5 years of entrepreneurship before True Elements. There are 3 screw-ups before we reach True Elements. Those learnings help us to look at the way that we are looking today. Right or wrong, only future will tell us.
Very, very interesting. My next question to you is that when you talk about True Elements, and if you position yourself against so many other brands, it's a very crowded market in the food business. How are you differentiating yourself?
That's it. So, for example, there are 3-4 brands with the word true and truth and multiple connotations in food. Okay. Yes. Now, for a consumer, it's really confusing to understand who is actually true. Like all of us could be true. Okay. To an extent, all of us are true. Then how are we different? Okay. So in terms of how we are different is our offering, the product offerings. Okay. And we are constantly innovating in terms of product solutions and the way we are doing it, and creating, for example, we are the India's first clean label and whole grain certified brand. We launched the traceability first, because of which we are in the only, again, globally 5 clean tech packaged food brands. Okay. So it's a constant. So how are we different? Obviously, there is but the difference what we build today may not be a differential point 1 week down the line, right? Again, we are being digitally available. That means if I'm going to go out and put it out today, Another person could just copy it and make it available next 5 days.
Correct.
We also have 4 or 5 days. That means we are on toes in all the aspects of business to keep that leverage ahead, right? So answering your one question, the biggest differentiator is being quick and constantly being innovative. Those are being appreciated by consumers because we have so many innovation at the product level for consumers to touch and feel. So that's one thing which you're constantly doing, and that's our USP as well, right? For example, again, offerings, the range we have speaks about it itself.
Wonderful. So my last question to you, and this is for a lot of people who will be listening to our conversation. What would you say are 3 life lessons that you would like to share from your entrepreneurial journey with our viewers and listeners?
3 entrepreneurial life lessons. First and foremost would be, there is no right time to start up.
Correct.
Every time which is good time for you is the right time. Okay. So initially I thought I came in after 6 years of corporate experience, it was late. But now looking back, it is not. One. Second, if you are in the entrepreneurial journey purely for being rich, then most likely my learning is you might fail. Okay. Right? If you have, because you may not fail economically, but you may not enjoy the journey because it's a solo journey. Correct. And it is a tough journey. So enjoy the journey, and if you stay put in for 4 or 5 years, and if you are little above average in terms of smartness, it's very highly likely that you'll make something meaningful out of it. Meaningful may be valuable for you, but for sure it will be valuable for the world. Okay. So stay patient is a second. Right. And then second is start any point of time. Third is, now don't compare yourself in your journey, because your journey is only your journey. Nobody can understand and relate to what you're going through. And the same reason, you cannot compare to somebody else and either feel good about you or feel bad about you. Either way, your journey is unique. The day you compare, you are digging your grave. Okay, in terms of peace of mind and forward thinking. So don't ever learn, get inspired by ideas, implement it in yours, but don't get too much bogged out by what others are doing.
Amazing. Sreejit, on that note, and talking about your 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 5 p.m. snack, hopefully you'll have a midnight snack for a lot of youngsters, and hopefully you'll have some snacks for senior citizens. Thank you so much for speaking to me. Thank you for talking to me about True Elements and the amazing brand that you have created and you're continuing to build. What I really loved about our conversation was how easily you said that in 3 months, you can take a decision to even pull a brand out if it is not working. And I think that really reflects on the thinking of the founders of True Elements.
Thank you.
Thank you again for speaking to me, and good luck.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Ashutosh. Pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.